background is I'm 15 plus 6. How many years? 21 years in masonry industry.
Okay.
I thought it was an age thing. Like,
I know.
No.
You don't know?
I'm
No.
like, okay, all right.
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
Doing the math.
So, I've been with H&B for the last 6 years. I do architectural sales. So, prior to that, background is
keep
like,
talking.
Yeah, bring it up here. Yeah.
You would just want to check my.
Don't worry about
We're
it.
just audio check, so.
So I think we could talk about what's happening in the design world, what's causing the innovation and changes, what we see from architects, what they ask questions about, the gap that exists from what architects want versus what contractors want to do, and how that whole thing comes together.
It's too good. Get it started.
Oh my
Don't you ever stop.
Is there one that's worse to deal with than the other, the contractor or the architect, or are they both equally a pain in the ass sometimes?
I cannot say the architects are a pain because that is who I get to work with, and it is a pleasure doing business. But
Suck up buttons.
They're challenging in two different ways, right? You've got the mason that has been doing it one way for a very long time, and it works. They've successfully seen it work, and they don't understand why we see drawings that look different. And obviously they're idiots, which is why they look different.
Yeah.
Not that there's new energy codes that are dictating that these things need to be thermally broken now, and that we have to do things a little bit different. And
Is it constant like that? Is there something new every year? There's always something that you got to take care of, and you got to fix this, and you got to take care of that. And is that what makes it so difficult, or what is it? What are those barriers?
What makes it?
Use a word that you're very familiar with.
Yes, the barriers. Look at that play on words.
Thank you.
So I think the challenge is that energy codes are different in every state, sometimes every city, about what code is adopted and how they need to design a wall. And so it's different in New York City than it is in Texas, than it is in Nebraska, than it is in the West Coast.
Right.
So you kind of mentioned it. You're dealing with the contractors, right? The function side, the ones that are hands-on versus the ones that are design-based, right? So it sounds like you guys are doing a pretty good job of balancing that, hearing what they're seeing in the field, hearing what the architects or the engineers are requesting out of you. Any specific products that you've heard about that you think, you know what, we do need to make some changes?
So, yes, there's several, right? The biggest issue is the thermal breaks.
Yep.
We have to do it now, and if masonry is going to continue to be a premium choice and a first choice that I hope it continues to be, we've got to make adjustments. Contractors have to start saying, okay, I'm going to do the offset shelf angles instead of, continuing to put a price on it that makes it elevated, that now all of a sudden we V it out, and then it's like, well, then we can't keep doing brick. Then they're going to VE to a thin panel. And yes, we can adapt and add that scope and rain screen and thin facades, but they don't have mortar in them now, do they?
Right.
So do we really want to do that?
We don't like that, do we?
No, not at all. Cut that out. Take that whole segment out right there. No.
So, I mean, it's the thermal anchors, it's the offset shelf angles, it's the breaking of more exterior insulation.
But come on, isn't everybody tired every year of hearing the same old thing? Oh, it's too much money. Oh, I don't want to. No. Isn't anybody interested in the right way, in the quality way, the way it's supposed to be done? Why does money always have to come up?
The good news is I think the contractors that come to World of Concrete are the ones that are usually first adopters. They're the ones out looking for the innovation. They're the ones out looking at increasing scope. But it's always been a low bid thing. Construction in general has always funneled by low bid.
I think on a poor side we have done is not explaining the longevity where the real savings is, right? And I think that's something I'd imagine you guys are working with the architects on, making sure they understand what masonry really does for a building long term.
Well, exactly. Inherently, a block backup and a brick facade is going to be the most energy efficient thing you could do because you get the thermal mass, right? You get the lag of the heating and cooling costs, because that's the whole point of this, is to use less energy in buildings and build a building once and keep it there and don't tear it down 25 years from now, the longevity and durability and resiliency.
This is probably a poor way to ask this question, and I apologize right out front, but is there a disconnect from the shoulders up between the architects and the contractors, which is causing them banging their heads about getting it right. And I please don't anybody take this wrong, but there's got to be something in there that one party just, doesn't understand about the other.
I think you know what I'm trying to say.
Right, but I think there's more to it than that. Right. First of all, I think that we all understand. We want to get contractors talking directly to architects to understand, if I design in this way, it makes it more affordable to lay it, right? We need to have more of those conversations. And I think architects are more open to that than they ever have been. Okay. But now you've got this GC in here. We've got this whole thing happening where they're controlling scope too, because based on their time frame of building something, that they want to push certain things because time is money from a GC perspective, and owners always have to care about cost, and GCs are in their ear on cost. So it's not just contractors, it's GCs. Then you've got your manufacturers that are, potentially trying to, everybody's got their own agenda, their own bias, their own perspective of how they see something, and they don't always, we're saying the same words, but we're not speaking the same language. I think that's happening in multiple things that are causing that. But I think that's the goal. The goal is bridge the gap.
Well, could we put them all in a room?
Yes.
And just, that's what we need to do. Give them all a pillow and let them have a giant pillow fight and talk it out. Because it seems to me that there needs to be some harsh words spoken and some truths spoken about what really needs to be done. And you mentioned the word longevity. I don't know, maybe you did it, Linda. But I mean, that's really what it's all about. How long can I get this building to last? And is it going to be the right way? The Parthenon and the pyramids aren't up there because we did it the wrong way.
Right, we've demonstrated masonry can last as long as we want it to last. Exactly. I think the challenge is the way we built those structures was mass walls. I mean, they were 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 feet thick. We weren't dealing with the cavity walls and the thin and the water being able to get in because we keep these systems so thin. And so now we're adding the insulation there. We're talking dew points. We're talking, it's complex, but we're trying to keep it simple. And I think that when you do use block and brick, it does keep it simpler for details because you don't have as much of the wall is thicker though. So we know it performs better. We know we can build it more cost effective if you design the block optimally and use it the way it can. All those things can happen. So then why don't we do it? Well, because we lose square footage inside where the owners want, because we have too wide of a cavity to maybe do it the way we want to do it. So we try to skinny everything up in the exterior facade. Yeah.
What a good point. Just such a small design detail, but important to some people. I get it.
Right.
It is. But the good news is, you guys are always innovative and doing things to try to make it better, try to make it easier, try to make it simple and I think you're doing what needs to be done to bridge that gap and maybe have them have those conversations. Hey, this is a good idea. Let's talk about it.
Thank you for saying it, because he's exactly right. You're in there pushing. Mm-hmm. We've talked to several trade organizations trying to push masonry specific. Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of the big problems we have, and we keep seeing cost. You're not the cost, right? You're not the problem in this. What we see is that we often have engineers that over-design the buildings, right? It's just something they learned in school. They put it into practice when the actual job comes out. So it costs a lot more. It's over-designed for what they actually need. So yes, it's people like you going in there. It's people like specmix. It's people like the IMI. Those guys going in there and really trying to push masonry specific to make sure it meets the needs of the end user.
So has anybody been talking about the CMU checkoff program?
Yes, as a matter of fact, Kim Spahn. We're going to be talking with her tomorrow about the checkoff program, but you can talk about it right now too if you want.
No, what I like about it is that there is an arm of delegated design that's coming out, that's helping because this is such a deep problem. Is these engineers didn't learn how to design with CMU, and so when we're out and we can't do it efficiently because everything is time, and so we go to what we know, which is steel and concrete. Mm-hmm. Yep. And so if we're gonna put more block in walls, we've got to design it right. How do you design it right when we don't have the education out there? So the delegated design portion is actually taking off in a lot of areas that are presenting this to the engineers, because you know what, the story is do what you're really good at and outsource what you're not great at and get it done right and give your owner what they want in the time frame you need it done. So the delegated design portion of actual CMU structural wall, it's no different than cold form metal framing's been doing. It's no different than precast does. It's no different than glazed systems out there. So but it's allowing that. It's allowing it to be designed optimally so that maybe the masons can utilize some of these systems that exist out there, the mules and the different things that allow them to be more efficient with their labor, to keep the contractors, their arms, working less injury. But they can't use those systems if they don't have a building that is designed in a way to use those optimal resources. How do you talk about that and put that into play? We can talk about it and try to let everybody know, but sometimes people have to take those first steps, and that's probably the hardest part, to get them, to buy into that sometimes. Yeah, so I think it's all in the checkoff, though, because we now have funds to do the education. Yeah. And when you have funds to do education, you're in front of the structural engineer, you're telling them what we're doing, you're getting contractor buy-in. Yeah. But I think it has to have, where we've seen success of this is when you've got contractors bought into it, you've got block producers bought into it, you've got your local structural engineers, and you've got a checkoff program director person. I don't know what they call themselves. They have a name. But they're all working in one community together with the GCs, and we're talking and we're making it happen. And then you take that same what works and you take it to the next market. But you can't piecemeal. You've got to really hit everybody in one area, get everybody on the same page and talking about it, implementing it, see it happen. We've got our first one coming out for a bid next week that came delegated design through the checkoff program, and where I'm located. Okay. So I'm excited to see what happened with that.
We don't want to toot our own horn because it's so many people out here, but that's exactly what this is for, right? This Bricklayer 500, all these different Masonry Madness competitions, it's about bringing the industry together so they can talk, exactly like you said, because it's going to take everyone at full force.
Right.
So we talked a lot about cost, but I know you guys are doing things to mitigate that. I talked to a lot of suppliers. They're saying you guys are even drop shipping material directly to jobs now as well.
That could be true.
Oh, they do. It's true.
I'll tell you
right now. It was a leading question, and it is correct.
I do not know.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
They keep me far away from any of those discussions.
Trying to bring you up. You did such a good job. We put you in such a tough spot, like very, very deep conversations that need answers, right? And we put you in the hot seat.
Can we redact any of this and just put little things on our face or anything like that? I don't know. I do that. No, this is awesome. And we could go on and talk about, we're going to be talking with you guys again tomorrow about some of the physical things that are going on.
I think I get to talk to you about some of those physical things.
You do. I've got you pegged for one specific question. So
don't spoil it. I want it to be
I'm not going to tell
overthought.
I think I'm going to mix it up and just, and not just pick out of a hat.
She's got 3 other people that want to talk. Who's your favorite? Now you're on the real hot seat. Who's your favorite of the other 3?
I don't even know who else is talking. No one has told me anything.
She's got me twice, Tom. I don't know. She's fooling with me now.
I don't know what to say here other than I guess I should have prepped.
You good.
Well, listen, thanks for taking some time, and much success. And obviously, if things happen between now and next year and things get better, let's talk again. Let's keep the conversation going, because that's what we need to do. And I originally, when I first started this 23 years ago, I didn't know anything about a brick. I didn't even know it was a rectangle. I thought it was square, and I had no clue. And I've learned so much, and talking to people like you and learning over the years about what this means, and what Will said, this is all, we're all here. We're all coming together to do this, and I love to hear about stuff like that, and I hope that my questions weren't too ridiculous, but I have a different point of view and a different thought process about what goes on, but it's nice, and I get it, and I love to hear that.
Yeah, well, my perspective is obviously different than what you probably get as well, just because I really don't work. But it's good. It's good because it takes all of us talking and working together and understanding what everyone's needs, right? It's different for everyone.
And if you want to go see something really good about architects, go see the movie that's just out, The Roses, with Benedict Cumberbatch. Huh. Oh, I saw it on the plane right here from Atlanta. I could not remember War of the Roses. Remember that with Michael Douglas? That's like 25, 30 years ago. Wait a minute. I'm not talking to those guys over there. All right, go watch the roses, because Benedict Cumberbatch is an architect. Okay. And it's really good. You get a good sense of as far as what's going on there.
I can't wait. Okay, I'm going to put that on my list.
That's your.
Before we let you go, let me at least give you a big thank you. I mean, I talked to Mr. Walsh last year in you guys' booth. He actually walked us all through the problems the industry is having and the solutions you guys are providing. So what you're doing for this industry is unbelievable, and maybe even a bigger thank you for the support you guys have here for this Bricklayer 500. We love having you at the regional events. Love having you here in Vegas. So big thanks from us at SPECmix.
Yes, thank you for all you keep doing. It's great.
Very cool.
Okay.
We're gonna keep trying. We're gonna keep doing. You do it, we'll do it, and we're gonna get everybody on the same page. It may take a while.
I think we're slingshotting back into. I mean, with this checkoff program, what's coming, the education, the resources, the people that are a part of wanting to make that change and shift, it's going to be great.
Well, I'm going to share that with Kim and talk about the conversation that we had, and maybe we can, just tie it all up in a nice little package.
Build off of that for her.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
I think so. All right, We're out of here. Deuces.